having a good day so far. All right, so today we'll be doing our English lesson on regular past tense. So we'll be doing our grade 2 English lesson on regular past tense. And before we start with our lesson on regular past tense, we're going to log into aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged into aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of language arts, grade 2. And once you select the subject of language arts, grade 2, and then you're going to scroll down up until you get to the chapter of regular past tense. Right, so we're going to select the subject of regular past tense. All right, so once you have selected the subject of regular past tense, we say our chapter is regular past tense. Our subject is English language arts. We're doing grade 2, and the lessons that we will be focusing on today is to identify verbs in the regular past tense, which sentence is in the regular past tense, and to form and use regular past tense. So that is going to be our 3 focus lessons under the chapter of regular past tense. All right, so basically regular past tense, right? So when it comes to the past tense, then we usually tell something that has happened already. So the past tense basically tells us things or something that has happened already. Already happened. It's in the past, right? And regular past tense verbs, it ends in ed. So whatever your action verb is, in the past tense, we basically just add an ed to show the action that took place in the past. And as much as it may seem quite easy, because we are only saying that you need to just add an ed to the verb, right, to show something that has happened in the past or something that already happened, right? But when it comes to the regular past tense, like we say, as much as it may seem easy, but there are some spelling rules, right? So basically, our rule when it comes to regular past tense is to add an ed, right? But if a verb ends in e, so if your verb ends in e, then the only thing you do is you add in a d, because you can't add an e on top of the d or another e on top of the e that your word ends in. So which means that if your verb ends in e, then you just add a d. But when it comes to the regular past tense verb, right, we basically add an ed to show the past tense, or we can just say our regular past tense verb ends in ed because it shows something that has happened already and that is in the past. And one example of a regular past tense verb. All right, so an example is we can say mom folded the laundry, right? So basically, it tells us something that has happened already. So if you look at the sentence, it says mother or mom folded the laundry. What is something that had happened already? Because it basically shows the past tense, something that had happened already. So in this case, we can say that mom folded. So folded the laundry, right? And as you can see, it also ends in ed. So that is but one example that we are going to make for now. All right. If you look at these words, right? On the one side, they're showing the, let's say, the present tense form. And what we are specifically focusing on is the past tense form. So in the present, we can say it is walk. So walk. That is in the present. But in the past, it is walked, and there we added an ed. So in the present, I walk to school, but in the past tense, I walked to school. All right. In the present, which is now, I laugh at her jokes. But we can say in the past tense, I laughed at her jokes, for example. And there we have laughed. All right, so now I jump over the rope. But in the past, I jumped over the rope. And there we have our ed that was added to that word to basically show the past tense form. I talked to my teacher. I talked to my teacher. Talked. And then we have look. And look is now. So look is something that you're doing now. But in the past tense, you can say, I looked for you. I looked for you. And there we have our word looked, and it ends in ed. All right, so remember we said that as much as it may seem as if our past tense forms are quite easy, right? And we say that, but if a word ends in E, then we just add D, right? Like over here, like with agree. Agree ends with an E, which means that in the past tense, we are only going to add the D. So agree, I agree now, but in the past, I agreed. And there we have the D that was added only. And then listen. Listen is something that we're doing now, which is in the present tense. But in the past, I listened to you. And then now we have dance, and it also ends in an E, right? So now we need to basically find the past tense form of dance. Remember we said that if the word ends in E, then we basically just need to add a D, not an ED. So there we have dance, which is something that you're doing now, but in the past, I danced, right? So there it ends with an E, which means that we just added a D. So danced. So this is basically a few examples, right, of regular past tense. And with regular past tense, we either add a D or we add an ED to our verb, right? And when it comes to our regular past tense, it tells us about something that has happened already in the past, that happened already. All right. All right, so now we're going to aplusstudents.ca. So we're going to aplusstudents.ca. And we said our first lesson is to identify verbs in the regular past tense. And we said the past tense usually tells us about something that has happened already. So something that has already happened, right? It happened already. It is not in the past. And we said our regular past tense verb, it ends in ed. And an example of a regular past tense, we can say that we washed the car a few days ago. So which means that our word is washed, which shows that a few days ago we washed the car. It is now clean. All right. Okay, so now we're going to select the past tense verb. We're going to select and identify the past tense verb. We used it all up. We need to select the past tense verb. We used it all up. So what do you think is our past tense verb within that sentence? All right, so if we now select our past tense verb within the sentence that says we used all up, and then we're going to choose used. So used is our past tense verb, and it also ends in ed, or basically d, and it tells us something that has happened already. So something that has already happened. All right, so now we're going to select the past tense verb. Seth cleaned the sink. Seth cleaned the sink. So we need to basically select the past tense verb within that sentence. Seth cleaned the sink. And if we select the past tense verb within that sentence, Seth cleaned the sink, then we can say cleaned is our past tense verb. Cleaned. So it's clean plus ed. Cleaned. And e ends in ed, and it tells about something that happened already. I danced at the party. I danced at the party. And now, if we select the past tense verb within that sentence, so then we say I danced. So danced is our past tense verb that we have identified or selected within that sentence. So all we did was we added a D, and dance, it basically tells us about something that has already happened. All right, so danced is our past tense verb. All right, so now we're going to the test. And if we go to the test, we're going to begin the test, right? We need to select the past tense verb. So we are going to select the past tense verb. It is already given. So my sister teased me is the word teased or me, the past tense verb. Teased or me, the past tense verb. All right, so if we select the regular past tense verb within that sentence, we can say, my sister teased me, right? So teased me, it is the regular past tense. So we're gonna choose teased. All right. So if you have T's, then well done. Jesse closed the book. Jesse closed. So we now need to select the regular past tense. Is it closed or is it the second one, which is bank? So Jesse closed the book. Remember we said the verb that ends in either an E, we just added D, or if it, let's say the verb basically just ends in any other letter other than E, and then we add an ED to show the regular past tense. So Jesse closed the book, so which means it closed. All right, so closed. All right, so well done if you have closed. The plane landed. So if we select the past tense verb, so landed, because as you can also see, it ends in a D. All right, so let's go with landed. And landed is correct. So I tied my shoes. I tied my shoes. So we now need to select the regular past tense. I tied my shoe. So which means that if we select our subject past, select the past tense verb, I love my shoes, and then we can, I tied my shoes, and then we can say tied is. All right, so we select the past tense verb. The boy changed his shirt. Changed his shirt. All right, and if we select the past tense verb, then we're going to say changed. So changed is our past tense verb within that sentence. So changed. So we will select changed. And changed is correct. We climbed the hill. One more. We climbed the hill. So we now need to select the past tense. So what did you do? We climbed, or I climbed the hill. So basically, we need to select the past tense verb. We climbed the hill. So we will go with climbed. And climbed, if it was just, okay, if we break it down, basically, then we can say climb, and we added an ed to show that it is in the past tense. So we climbed the hill. So climbed is, there we go. All right. All right, so now as we continue with regular past tense, right, we're now going to focus on which sentence is in the regular past tense. All right. And we must now basically say that a past tense, it usually tells about something that has happened already. And remember with the past tense, we say that it ends in either an ed or we add a d to it to show the past tense. All right. So now if we look at this word, answers, this is the word that basically needs to be changed into a, let's say, plural name, plural form. I'm sorry, not even plural, past tense, right? In the past tense form, past tense name. So basically, if we, let's say, rewrite the sentence and then writing it in the past tense, let's start with so Mr. Olson answered. So Mr. Olson answered. That doesn't look like a W. Answered the questions. So answered, right? And there when it comes to answered, all we added was an ED. Yes. All right. Last one. Rachel wears socks with yellow and green with yellow and red stars. So Rachel wears socks with yellow and red stars. So we now need to say which sentence is in the past tense. All right. So Rachel wears socks with yellow and red stars. And remember with regular past tense verbs, we either just add the ed or the d for the 20th. Sorry, ed or d. So if we select the the regular past tense of Rachel wears socks with yellow and red stars, and then we can basically, actually we can't even say weird because you don't get that. So basically, yeah, it's as if this word changes, right? If that is now, we are going to then put it in the, almost like rewriting it, sorry. So Rachel wears socks with yellow and red stars. So it's almost like saying Rachel wore because you can't say weird. All right. So now we are going to have to say which sentence is in the past tense by doing the test. And remember, we said with regular past tense, it's either we just add a D or we add an ED. And this basically shows us the action that takes place in the past tense. So they will cross the river, or the man called his son. So we now need to select the sentence that is in the past tense. Do we say will cross the river or the man called his son? All right, so if we now select the correct sentence that is in the past tense, man called his son. So basically called with an ed shows the past tense. All right. We need to say which sentence is in the past tense. He bangs on the door, or she visited me. Which one is the correct word within the past tense? He bangs on the door. All right, so if we now select the past tense, then we can say visited. She visited me. And as you can see, the ed and shows in the past tense. All right, so visited me was the correct word because it's something that they did in the past. She joked about the game. She joked about the game. Or do we say the telephone rings? Remember, we need to select either option 1 or option 2 to show the sentence that took place within the past term. All right, so if we select the sentence in the past tense, there we see far, it is joked. She joked about the game. Joked. It's funny. Mm. Oh, we said joked. All right, so joked is correct. If you also said joked, then well done. We will camp tonight. So we need to select the past tense. Do we say it is we will camp tonight? Or the band paraded through town? And we will camp night. And if we sentence with the past tense, and then we're going to say it is the second one, which is the band paraded through town, which means that we basically just added an ed to that word. So we will camp tonight with the band paraded through town. So we need to select the sentence in the past tense. Mr. Garrett returned the books, and so Mr. Garrett returned the book, or do we say the ball rolls away? We need to select the. All right. So if we choose the correct one, we can say Garrett returned with an ed his book. All right. Let's go back. So here we need to form and use the regular past tense. We are going to form the negative, the sorry, and use the regular past tense as well as in front where we are forming. We form and use the regular past tense. All right. And remember, we said that in the past tense, it usually tells about something that has happened already, right? So the past tense, it tells us about something that happened already. All right. So it says that the past it usually tells about something that has happened already, which means that it is in the past. It is things that happened already or it did not happen yet, right? And in order for us to form the regular past tense, we need to start with the base form of the word and then follow these rules. So if we basically form the regular past tense starting with the base, remember we said the base word, and the base word is it's almost like the word that is currently in the present, right? And here they made an example of walk. So if walk is our base word, right, then it means that our present tense verb or word is going to be walk. So walked. And there we added the ed. Ed. Sorry that walked don't look so nice. And if the base word form ends in e or d, and then, for example, it was a bike, and then we have bike. So here we have our base, right, which is bike. It's like a bicycle, right? And then we have biked. Then they biked to school last Friday. Bike is taking their bicycles to school last Friday. They biked, not hiked. They biked to school last Friday. So there we have our word in the past tense, which ends with an ed that we basically form, right? So we used our base word and we formed. All right. And here it says, you look at the word button, right? We can say, I button up my winter coat. Button, right? If you button up your winter coat, right? And then we do it in the, we say, we make mention of it in the past tense, then we can say that I buttoned up my winter coat. Buttoned up my winter coat. All right, let's do two questions. We need to complete the sentence with the verb within the past tense. The dogs, they bark at the birds outside. Is it the dogs barks or barked? Remember, this is in the regular past tense, and we said it either it ends in D or ED. So barks or barked. And if we choose the correct verb, we can say in the past tense, the dog barked at the birds outside. Barked, and then we added our ED. The men, do we say start the race cars, starts the race cars, or started the race cars? Cars. So we can then just say that the men started because it already started, right? The race cars. Cars. All right. So grade twos, that is the end of our lesson on regular past tense, right? Where we say that with regular past tense, we basically just add an ed to our verb, or if our verb basically ends in an e, like for example dance, and then we just add a d to show the regular past tense form of that verb, right? So grade twos, thank you very much for joining our class on regular past tense, and I really hope you're going to have a good day further. Goodbye.